Okay, then let's talk about the purchases, returns. Okay, also known as the return outwards. So, in case you are not comfortable with the goods that you received from P. Charlie, looking at the last video that I just did, we talked about P. Charlie. Um, if you are not happy with what P. Charlie had served you, you can actually return the goods back to him. And if at all the color is not okay, if at all the goods that were saved were damaged, you can take it back to Picturely, and we have a certain way of writing all the returns that we do. So remember, in the last video we were talking about Picturely, and we said we are owing Picturely a 10 kwacha on the goods, and we had paid him a 5 kwacha. But this time around, what happens if we return, let's say, 2 kwacha, okay, of the goods that he had returned? He had given us. Let's see how much we'll be owing Charlie this time around. So the procedure still remains the same. So let's look at first the double entry. What's going to happen when we return some goods? So what is going to happen is, the first step is that we are going to write P. Charlie here, and we are going to write the return outwards. Remember, our this must always be our first thing to do. Then which one are we going to debit and which one are we going to credit? Now, since we have taken some goods back to Charlie, what we are going to do is that we are going to debit Charlie and credit what? The returns. Why is it like that? Because in P. Charlie's account, we had credited the 10 kwacha. Now, everything else, contrary to getting something from P. Charlie on credit, must be written to the debit side. What do I mean? I mean that when we pay P. Charlie or we return P. Charlie, we have to write that amount on the debit side. So that is the reason why I'm going to debit P. Charlie. So let us just illustrate the returns. The returns outwards account. So we're going to write returns outwards. Then we are going to draw our account. Remember, we just said, okay, so remember that we said we are going to return 2 kwacha of what P. Charlie had supplied us with. So we have our debit and credit, we have folio there, we have details. Now remember, we said in here we just record things that we take back to our suppliers or creditors. So remember that this has a credit balance, so we're going to write 2 here, P. Charlie. So P. Charlie. Then credit. So yeah, we are going to write off the 2 kwacha that we had given back Charlie, and we are going to write our balances there. Now, what does this 2 kwacha mean? This 2 kwacha means that we just returned 2 kwacha of the 10 kwacha that we had gotten from P. Charlie. I hope also this video is going to help you. By the way, remember that the returns outwards, we only record things that we have returned to our suppliers only. Nothing else comes into this. Now, the other tip that you must know is that the purchases in the char balance goes to debit side of the char balance. Then the purchases returns goes to the opposite, which is the credit side. So those are just tips on how to record these transactions. And remember that the way these two kwacha is appearing in the prices returns, that's how it will appear also in the trial balance. I hope this is going to help everyone. Thank you so much.